Today on Judge Faith, whose job was it to take the trash out?
She called me and said they can't come get the dumpster.
Little did I know that he was gonna put whole trees in the dumpster with clumps of clay, all kind of asphalt.
You were asking me, have you ever had this happen before? And I said, no, I don't ever use dumpsters.
The yard was a hot mess.
Now you know for next time. And so this is a learning process.
And later, these BFFs take the law into their own hands.
I felt his car hit mine once, bounce off, and then hit again.
He was driving still, so I was like, go, and she wasn't moving. She was like in shock.
You were telling her to go, like,
Yeah,
chase him
like-
down?
Plaintiff Tanisha Moore Beatty says she hired the defendant to remove debris on the playground at her new Dream Daycare facility, but he never completed the job. She's suing for the return of her deposit and related fees. Defendant Roger Waymeyer says he completed the work, and the plaintiff is just mad because she had to pay to haul away the debris. He is countersuing for the balance owed on the job.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Moore Beatty versus Waymeyer.
Thank you, Barbara. Tanisha Moore Beatty?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Roger Waymeyer, for $3,000 for the return of a deposit and related fees for a landscaping job you said he did not complete?
Yes.
And Mr. Waymeyer, you are countersuing for $2,000, the remainder of the contract that you say she owes you on that landscaping job?
That's correct.
Okay, Ms. Moore Beatty, we'll start with you. What happened here?
I decided to open a daycare, a child care center, and about in 2010, I decided to purchase a building.
Okay, did you actually open the daycare center?
No, we never opened it. We were doing all the construction, and with all these janky contractors, like, we had so much problems, like lost so much money with people getting deposits and not doing their job. Anyway,
Your Honor, it wasn't
as I was saying, I was following my dream. I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Well,
Let me
let's
start
back
from
up for a second. How did you entered into a contract with the defendant for landscaping,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay, when was that?
That was in 2012.
Now, did you know him or did you know his work prior to that?
No.
How did you find him?
He was referred by another person who could not do the work. This other guy, he was a little older. So he referred Roger to me saying, you know, I don't do this anymore, but I have someone that would be great. He's professional, he's great.
And what did you hire the defendant to do?
I hired him to create my playground area. What he was supposed to do was remove all the gravel from the yard. The yard was a mess. The whole building was a complete gut out. And so I gave him the benefit of the doubt when he gave me that outrageous $5,500 bid. Like, seriously.
Well, did you get bids from other people?
Yes.
Okay, but you chose him.
I chose him because he was somebody who had a company. He wasn't someone that's just riding along on his bike, you know, and said, hey, can I cut your grass?
Mr. Waymeyer, you do have a company?
Yes,
Okay, and how long have you been in the landscaping business?
20 years.
Do you do landscaping mostly in the St. Louis area?
Yes.
This is where the breakdown in this case came, right? So you hired him and he's doing work and he removes the debris from the yard, and where is it placed?
I had a dumpster there, as I stated, when I was doing other contractor work. So another contractor had me bring in a dumpster to put the debris from tearing out the walls and all of that. Roger sees the dumpster. He said, can I use your dumpster? I'm like, sure, you're a contractor. Everyone else is using it. Why not? Little did I know that he was gonna put whole trees in the dumpster with clumps of clay, all kind of asphalt. Like, it was over the limit by like 30 tons or so.
And so
like,
how did you know that?
I call Allied, tell them to come pick up the dumpster because we can't fit any more of the construction stuff.
Let's see the photo. Okay, so that's the dumpster, right?
That's the dumpster in the middle of the yard.
And I see that's the work that he did with the sod around it, and then there's the brown dirt area where you're supposed to pull the dumpster out and remove it.
Yes.
So they say they can't pick it up.
They said
what do
they
you
could
do?
not pick it up. They sent another dumpster out.
She called me and said they can't come get the dumpster. It's too heavy. Have you ever had this happen before? And I said, no, I don't ever use dumpsters.
Okay, so you never used a dumpster and then you filled this one up.
And I was trying to help her, so I said, why don't I call around to see if someone is telling you the truth? I was trying to call around to see if
Well,
somebody
how
was
was
telling
that
me.
helping me?
Because you were asking me that it was possible for a dumpster to not be able to be picked up.
Sir, you want to explain to me what I'm looking at here?
This was the playground area that we were working in after the dumpster's gone. I don't know how long after we left that this picture
But this was the
taken.
area that you did not put the sod, right?
Well, the area we didn't put the sod's right on the corner,
Okay.
where the rock is. We had laid sod all the way around it. The first picture captures, you could see all the brand new
I saw that on the
sod.
first photo.
Yes.
And
Okay.
so then
listen,
whenever...
do we have another photo?
Oh yes, this is the new landscaper, the one that did it correctly. He dug all this. You see all this asphalt and sod and rock and gravel and bricks. This was under the dumpster.
Coming up, did her daycare dream get ditched with a dumpster?
No, this is my favorite. Oh, well, call me when you get that problem situated.
She called me 50 times saying that this was my problem and I
'Cause it
needed to
was.
help.
And later, did they take it too far when she ran after his car?
I got out of the car and I ran after the car.
I think you're a good friend, but there are better options than getting out on the highway, running down the street to catch someone.
Plaintiff Tanisha Moore Beatty says she hired the defendant to remove debris, but he never completed the job. She's suing for the return of her deposit and related fees. Defendant Roger Waymeyer says he did complete the work. He is countersuing for the balance owed on the job.
Is there anything in addition to what I just said as stated on the contract?
She called me. She
called
called me
him
50 times while the dumpster was still there, saying that this was my problem and I
'Cause it
needed to
was.
help her resolve the problem.
So, ma'am, you're suing for $600 in dumpster labor. What's that about?
His brother, the one that came out, $350 to come out and do his job. Because the last time I checked, I was the director of a daycare.
And
not
where's
a
the rest
20-year
of the
landscaper.
$600 come in for dumpster labor?
We had to end up paying another guy $250.
Okay.
And he was the one who finally got the stuff to where we can move the dumpster.
And what are the waste fees about?
So I paid the $389. And so I was holding him responsible for the other
Those are
$400.
the fees that they charged you for overfilling the dumpster.
For being overfilled. Now, mind you, that wasn't the amount of how much I paid. They charged me over. The amount of the overage was $789.
And you also, in addition to that, you hired somebody else to come. Is the landscaping's finished
Yes.
now, right?
Oh, no. They came out again. They could not move it. No, this is my favorite. Oh, well, call me when you get that problem situated. Yeah, call me when you handle that. When I handle it, foolishness, it's not for me to handle.
So what took you so long? Because this happened in 2012. What took you so long to file a lawsuit?
Well, I started the whole daycare dream. Right after all of this mess, I got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So I shut it down. I shut everything down. We had lost so much money. I had to fight for my health. I had to fight for my job. I had to fight for my dream. You know, I had to go through chemo, and it was almost 2 years that I had to go through chemo because my stage was there.
So are you doing better now?
I am.
You
I'm
certainly
actually
look wonderful.
Thank you. I'm actually doing fine. I'm actually I'm on a chemo pill now. So that's why I decided to get up out of my sorry bed, feeling sorry for myself, and I started fulfilling my dream again. And then when I got the new landscaper, and the landscaper was telling me everything that this landscaper did wrong, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let him get away with this. You've been in this business too long for this type of foolery. I'm just saying, like, how is this my problem?
How much did she pay you total? How much did she pay you
She
total?
paid me $2,000.
Okay, and how much do you say she still owes you?
2,000 too much.
Well, I agree that I did not complete the job 100%
Right.
because...
Okay, so you're suing for $2,000.
Correct.
Instead of the full, I think it's $3,000 left, right?
So you
Okay.
think your work was worth $4,000? What moon did you, what?
When she agreed to the $5,500, the bid that I gave her, she's the one that told me to fill up the dumpster. She did not want to pay to have dump trucks haul the dirt away. When we finished the whole job, we did all the removal, took a couple days. I called her, said, move your dumpster.
Let me just stop you there, because I think I've heard enough here. You know, you've been in the landscaping business 20 years, right?
Correct.
Over 20 years. And you obviously came highly recommended by someone else who referred you to her. But something you said today stood out to me, and I think that it's pretty significant in this case, and that is you've never worked with dumpsters before and used dumpsters in your landscaping business before.
That is accurate.
You're doing landscaping work, and a client tells you, well, just use this dumpster. You can use things and fill this dumpster up. And you've never worked with dumpsters before. I mean, she's trying to be helpful, but she doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know how much debris is going to weigh or even how much debris there will be. You're the professional. I really believe that with the issue with the dumpster, it fell under your job duties and responsibilities to haul off the debris. And if you didn't know the dumpster was going to be an issue, you should have known, I can't put this stuff in a dumpster. I have to take it to a landfill, even if it's in another county. I mean, it's your job to do that research.
Well, the bid would have been a lot higher.
I wanted to put it a lot higher.
I wanted to put it in my. I wanted to put it in my dump truck. I would have had to go to somebody that was a lot cheaper that would have removed the debris.
If the bid would have been a lot higher, now you know for next time. And so this is a learning process. I mean, you've been in business for 20 years. We learn things every day, right? Life is about lifelong learning. So now you know for next time when you deal with dumpsters. So I'm going to deny your counterclaim for $2,000 for the amount owed on the contract because you never actually completed the work. I'm going to order you to pay $1,000 for the dumpster labor and waste fees to the plaintiff because that really wasn't her responsibility. I find that was a part of your job responsibilities and duties. In addition, you are suing to get your $2,000 deposit back that you paid to the defendant. I'm not going to order him to pay you the full deposit back because he did a significant amount of work on the yard. I'm going to order you to refund her $1,000 in terms of that deposit. So my total judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000 plus her court costs. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Shauna Rui says the defendant hit her car while crossing into her lane without a turn signal. She's suing for damages to her car. She is accompanied in court today by her friend, Sivan Costa. Defendant Matthew Raymond says the plaintiff sped up when she saw his turn signal and hit his truck. He's countersuing for damages to his vehicle.
Ms. Rui, you are suing the defendant for $4,011 in damages to your car as a result of an accident you say he caused. Mr. Raymond, you say the accident was her fault, so you don't owe any money, and you're countersuing for $95 for damages to your truck. Who's your witness here with you today?
My friend Sivan.
Was she in the car?
Yes, she was.
Okay, we'll start with you. What happened?
I picked her up from her house. It was her birthday, so we're headed over to a coffee shop. They give you a free drink on your birthday, whether it's a smoothie or coffee or energy drink. And we're driving down Madison. We passed Hemlock. The light was green, so we didn't have to stop or anything.
What kind of street is Madison? Is it a highway or a residential area? How would you describe it?
It's like a main street.
It's like a main street.
How many lanes of traffic?
Three on both sides. 3 on both sides. So we pass the cross street Hemlock, and all of a sudden, all I see is his white Ford pickup truck coming over into my lane. I honked my horn at least 3 times before I just laid on my horn. I felt his car hit mine once, bounce off, and then hit again. I stopped the car, and this is when Sivan, she got out of my car. She's wearing a dress and flip-flops.
Well, why don't you tell me what you did?
When she stopped, I looked over at her, and he was driving still. So I was like, go, and she wasn't moving. She was like in shock.
You were telling her to go, like, chase him down?
Go get him.
Oh,
like,
okay.
And she wasn't moving. No. She wasn't moving, so I got out of the car, and I ran after the car, and 5
You
foot,
ran in the street?
I ran no, on the sidewalk.
Oh, on the sidewalk,
I'm
okay.
5 foot, and I'm in this long dress. It's my birthday. I'm in flip-flops. I'm trying to chase after him. I run a few feet, and I'm pointing for him to go and turn into a parking lot. He finally turns into a parking lot. Well, as he parks, I'm standing there. I said, "What is your problem? What was your deal?" And he goes, "Well, you hit me."
So were you leaving the scene of an accident, sir?
No. It's a minor accident, and in a minor accident, you don't stop in the middle of the road.
So you were just trying to drive somewhere where you could pull over safely?
Next on Judge Faith.
Now, I found something interesting in this police report. There was a witness who was interviewed at the scene. Have you seen this police report?
No, I have not.
Plaintiff Shauna Rui says the defendant hit her car while crossing into her lane. She's suing for damages to her vehicle. Defendant Matthew Raymond says the plaintiff sped up and hit his truck. He's countersuing for damages to his vehicle.
Let's hear your side.
So we're at an intersection, and I'm in the middle lane. She's in the right-hand lane.
So you saw her in the right-hand lane. You were driving in the middle lane. You saw her in the right-hand lane, and you needed to get over because you wanted to make a right turn.
That's my intentions.
Okay,
yeah.
so you accelerated.
I accelerated, I got ahead.
And now, so when you try to get over, do you turn on your blinker, your signal?
Yeah, after about 2 car lengths ahead.
No, he did not.
Hold on a second, ladies.
After about 2 car lengths ahead, I turned on my signal, and I'm merging over. That I've got a clear path to get in. At that time, as soon as I turned my signal on, she sped up on me. And I'm already moving over into the right lane in front of her. There's a car to the left of me now that sees what I'm doing and wants to take over my lane. So now I'm kind of stuck in a pickle, and my truck is in the middle of the white line, the striped white line, between the middle lane and the far right lane. So she's in the far right lane. I'm in the middle of the white line, and there's a car next to me that wants to take my spot.
Here's what's happening. She has the right of way in the lane that she's driving in. She just does. And if she doesn't want to let someone in front of her, she doesn't have to. And what bothers me is you saw her in the right lane. It's not like you didn't see her car and you got over. You actually saw her car in the right lane. Now, I found something interesting in this police report that I want to share with you. There was a witness who was interviewed at the scene. Have you seen this police report?
No, I have not.
This witness said that you tried to pass her car on the road and that she started blowing her horn and that she was laying on her horn blowing it, but you tried to get over anyway. So it's really hard for me to believe that another witness who doesn't know anyone here in this courtroom today would say and tell the police about her blowing her horn to try to prevent you from getting over, and you come into court today and say, well, I didn't hear a horn, I don't know anything about that.
I have a hard time with that, Your Honor.
Well, I'm sorry that you do, because she has the right of way to drive in the right-hand lane. And if you saw her, like you say you did, and this witness says that she was blowing her horn, you should not have tried to get over. I think you have a big truck, and you probably think you own the highway, and you wanted to get over because you knew you needed to make a right-hand turn, and you were going to try to force your way over, and you wanted them to slow down, and they didn't. That's what I think happened, sir.
I never saw a witness there when we were being interviewed by the police department when they
It doesn't matter
showed up.
what you saw. Perhaps they came afterwards. That doesn't matter. That's not relevant.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
First, on your counterclaim, I find you responsible for this accident. So on your counterclaim, 0. Let me explain something to you about damages. I've ruled on the issue of liability. The second issue is damages. How much does he have to pay you? Typically, when people come into court and they have an estimate, they haven't actually paid for damages. I assume you didn't have insurance, or you only had liability insurance?
Yeah, we only had the basic.
Okay, so liability insurance doesn't cover if you have damages to your car in an accident, correct?
Yes.
Miss Witness, I think you're a good friend because you try to help your friend, but I would caution you from getting out of a car, running after people. You guys have cell phones, right? There are better options than getting out on the highway, running down the street to catch someone. This was a fender bender. You know, you don't have to pursue the perpetrator. Let the police do that, okay? I know that you're suing for $4,011 in damages, but typically when you come into court, people come in and they bring 2 or 3 estimates. So I know that this one estimate isn't just from a family friend, or the prices aren't inflated, or the damages aren't inflated, because here I see there are a lot of things included in this estimate, and I'm just not sure that they're a part of this car accident and what I'm looking at now, okay?
Okay.
So in terms of damages, I'm going to sort of do a little finagling here and reviewing this document, and my verdict in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. Good luck, folks.
Their 10-year friendship ended on a sour note when she refused to pay his band for a performance.
I went back looking for him. I did not see him. Mr. Isaac knew on that particular night in cleaning that place, my cell phone had been lost for over 1 week.
About that.
It is amazing to me how many people, when they owe somebody money, they lose their phone.
And later, Judge Faith makes this defendant face the facts about his decision to drink and drive.
All of a sudden I hear a crash, like pow, like that, you know? And then I hear my car alarm, like, that's my car.
By the time a person is stopped and arrested for a DUI, it's not the first time they've been driving under the influence, it's the first time they've been caught.
Plaintiff Fitzroy Isaac says his former friend contracted with his band to play at her event, but now she refuses to pay. He's suing for breach of contract. Defendant Carol Leggett says Isaac agreed to be paid based on ticket sales, but a bad thunderstorm ruined the weekend event, so she doesn't owe him anything. She's countersuing for defamation of character.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is Isaac versus Leggett.
Thank you, Barbara. Mr. Fitzroy Isaac, you are suing the defendant, Carol Leggett, for $2,500 for breach of contract.
Yes.
You say your band performed at an event and she was under a contractual obligation to pay you and didn't? And Ms. Leggett, you are countersuing for $1,000 for defamation of character?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we will start with you now, Mr. Isaac. Tell me what happened.
Well, I've known the defendant in the 90s because I graduated from Berklee College of Music with a degree in commercial arranging and composition. And I have a 10-piece band, professional band, and we perform throughout the New England area. We do a lot of non-profit organization, and we play with a lot of different private entities to corporations. Ms. Leggett, the defendant, contacted me to do a show for her, which she called the Calypso Tent.
What is a Calypso tent?
Back in Trinidad, it come from the Caribbean. A Calypso tent is like, it's a carnival situation, and then there is a lot of artists, the cultural people get together and they compose these songs and they have an audience and it will be like either political commentary and they sing these songs composition which creates an environment for the community.
Okay, so you're the head of the group?
I am.
What's the name of the band?
Colors with a K, K-O-L-O-R-S.
So do you enter into a written contract with the defendant?
But I have a written contract that she signed.
Okay, may I have a copy of that, please?
This is my copy, but I think you have it. This is the contract.
I'd like to see your copy. And you do admit that you entered into a written contract? This is your signature? You want to take a look at it? That's your signature, Ms. Leggett?
Yes, this is my signature,
Okay, wonderful.
Your Honor. If I may explain.
Give me 1 second. I want to
finish.
understand
Yes.
something about this. So you entered into this written contract, and you agree, according to this contract, to perform on July 5th from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., and the payment is $2,500.
Yes, with a deposit of $750, which was it's written there too.
So you never got paid a single dollar for performing at the event?
From that time, from the 5th to as of today, I haven't got a cent. And then she was very
So why haven't you
disrespectful.
paid him anything? Based on the contract I see here.
Your Honor, there is a verbal contract.
No,
when
never
I met
After, you're saying after this agreement?
Before.
No.
I met with Mr. Isaac, with one of our associates. We were at the venue. Mr. Isaac knew we had no monies as a nonprofit organization. He knew that he was coming on board to assist because he liked the idea of this.
Oh, no.
Mr. Isaac has played for me,
not
for the
for her.
Grenadier ball that we
Never.
have had,
Hold on.
Mr.
Wait till
Isaac,
the judge talks.
10 years, hence the reason he chose to work with me on this verbal agreement, ticket sales.
Verbal.
Ticket
What
sales.
was the purported verbal agreement you say you entered into with the plaintiff?
Ticket sales. The event is based on income derived from ticket sales.
And so what was the verbal agreement?
$2,500. We are working with ticket sales. On July 4th, the Hurricane Arthur came through. The governor shut everything down for July 4th. The event that we proposed on the 5th, we had 60 patrons compared to 300 patrons.
Okay,
60
what does that have to
patrons.
do with paying him and the band?
What it has to do is that we don't have the money. The DJs that were there came to me and said, Ms. Leggett, we see what has happened here. You don't have to pay us. There is no
I don't
funds.
care about what the DJ said to you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
asking about the band.
The fact is we don't have the money. He agreed to do it on ticket sales for the venue because we had at least 300
Do you have any
people.
proof? Do you have any proof of this oral agreement you say you entered into with the plaintiff, which he wholeheartedly
it's
denies?
just verbal.
Coming up, Judge Faith lays down a lesson in fairness.
Musicians, oftentimes, especially locally, they go and they perform. These people don't make a lot of money. So when they go and it's time for them to perform and you promise to pay them, they want to be paid.
And later, a shocking revelation leaves the courtroom stunned.
When you come into court and you tell me, oh, I only had a couple of beers, alcoholics can't just have a couple of beers.
Plaintiff Fitzroy Isaac says his former friend contracted with his band to play at her event, but now she refuses to pay. He's suing for breach of contract. Defendant Carol Leggett says Isaac agreed to be paid based on ticket sales, but a bad thunderstorm ruined the weekend event, so she doesn't owe him anything. She's countersuing for defamation of character.
So here's the portion of the contract that you signed, correct? You read it.
Correct.
You understood what it said, right?
Correct.
Colors, the name of the band, shall be paid $2,500. Shall, not might, not maybe, not depending upon the ticket sales. The contract says shall. Next in the contract, it says the terms and conditions as follows. Check all that apply. They perform at the date and time. They did that, correct?
Yes, they did.
They have access to the venue for setup. That happened, right?
Correct.
There was adequate power outlets. That happened, correct? Parking, changing room, dinner, refreshments, all of that happened, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so my question to you is, because what you want me to do is look at this contract that you signed and you read and you understood, that the plaintiff signed, read, and understood, and you want me to disregard that completely and go off of just your word that there was another separate, complete oral agreement that he completely denies. And I'm not going to do that. I go by what's in writing. So this is on Sunday morning. He texts you, Carol, you told me to wait, and you left without you telling me what's up. What's your response to that?
Your Honor, what happened was I said to Mr. Isaac, exact words, let me go tally up and see what we have. I will be back to you in a minute.
So did you get back to him in a minute?
I went back looking for him. In his words, he said to me, I was not here because we were moving the instruments. I did not see him. They were back and forth moving the instruments. Mr. Isaac knew exactly where I was staying. The hotel, I said to him, we're staying right here at the hotel, which is right next to
Ma'am, so let me ask you, ma'am,
the next morning, 1 second, Your Honor,
Ma'am,
please.
when is the next time, when did you contact him
Mr.
again?
Isaac knew on that particular night in cleaning that place, my cell phone had been lost for a total of 1 week.
I don't know anything about that.
1 week.
Okay, so
When
let's just stop
finally-
right there. Let's stop right there, because my question to you was, okay, so you didn't see him.
I had no number for him.
I'm hearing
Okay.
what you're saying, but I want you to hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
You say you lost your phone. I'm saying there's evidence here that other people were able to get in contact with you with that same phone number that week, because it looks like you just skipped out and didn't pay them. That's what it looks like based on the
That's not
text
what I did.
messages that I'm reading.
That's not what I did. We've worked together for many years, and this is not my character.
$2,500. Well, you haven't paid him a dime. And
He refused to
performed for
take
5
partial
hours.
payment.
Because he doesn't have to. He has a contract that says you owe him $2,500. Whenever there is a written contract, and this is a clear written contract, there is no ambiguity here. Everything that he's supposed to do in order to get $2,500, he did it.
Thank you.
Now, if there is, you say that there is an oral agreement, here's the law. If there is a written contract, the only way that written contract can be changed or amended is in writing. You cannot use an oral agreement as proof that the written contract is valid. It absolutely does not hold up under the law.
Thank you, Lord.
And I will say this, it is amazing to me how many people, when they owe somebody money, they lose their phone. All of a sudden, you can't get in contact with them for an entire week. No one can get in, you say you've known him, you worked with him for many years. Surely someone had his phone number where you could contact him and tell him. And your response, I look at 20 different times and ways he or a member of his band tried to text you, tried to reach out to you, tried to ask you about money, and your response, when he says, no, I want to tell you what your response is, because you say there was another agreement. Your response to his text message, when you finally decide to respond a week later, I think you had your phone. You say, text after text from the defendant and other members of his band, ma'am, you owe us $2,500. We're just trying to collect payment. I'm in a spot here because I have to pay my band members. They're asking me for money. Musicians, oftentimes, especially locally, they go and they perform. These people don't make a lot of money. So when they go and it's time for them to perform and you promise to pay them, they want to be paid. He booked this event and he told these members of the band that they would get paid. It's not just him, it's other members of the band on the line.
And I'm on to $1,000, Your Honor.
So all of these messages, because it's not fair. It's not fair to people who work and they show up and they do what they're supposed to do. They need to get paid.
Your Honor.
So your
Honor,
response to his entire week of trying to reach out to you, begging, pleading, trying to find you is, your first response is, so sorry, just received my phone. It was misplaced Saturday night. Just returned. Oh my God, I'm going to call you in a few minutes. This had me very sick to my stomach. My apologies to everyone. You don't say, what are you talking about? I don't owe you $2,500. You don't say, what are you talking about? We had an agreement based on ticket sales. You say, my apologies, so sorry. What is your counterclaim about $1,000 for defamation of character?
Because he's walking around telling anyone that he would that would listen to him that I owe him money.
You do owe him money.
And it's the derogatory manner in which he's saying it.
Okay, so you do owe him money. So he spoke the truth. You owe him money.
Truth shall set you free.
On your counterclaim for $1,000 for defamation, that's dismissed. Judgment in this case, $2,500. You need to pay the band exactly what you said and you promised you would pay them under the contract. $2,500, and you're also going to pay the plaintiff's court costs. Have a good day.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father.
Plaintiffs Brenda and Justin Aggregados say their car was damaged in a hit and run by the defendant. They are suing for the cost of repair. But the defendant, Sang Savanarad, claims that his friend was driving that night, so he doesn't owe the plaintiffs anything.
Brenda Aggregado, you and your son, Justin Aggregado, are suing the defendant, Sang Savanarad?
Yes, ma'am.
For $2,798 damages to your car. You say the defendant is responsible for a hit and run and damaging your vehicle?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Why don't we start with you, Justin? Tell me what happened.
Around 2:30, I'm about to go to sleep. All of a sudden, I hear a crash, like pow, like that, you know? And then I hear my car alarm, like, that's my car.
This is 2:30 in the morning?
It's 2:30 in the morning, like, that's my car. So I look outside, because my window is like street side, I can see it. So I look out, and I see a defendant's car, like, jammed against my parked car, you know? So
you didn't know him at the time.
I didn't know.
But you just saw a car and
yeah,
you came to learn eventually that it was the defendant's car?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what do you see when you look outside?
So I saw the defendant's car just jammed into my car. You know, I have pictures here. And then I see a defendant reversing, and he rips off his front bumper with his license plate.
You say you have pictures of the bumper?
Oh, yeah.
There was a bumper left behind at the scene.
Coming up, Judge Faith gives some sobering truth to the defendant.
Are you still drinking?
Sometime.
I mean, I'm a little stunned right now because I was a prosecutor and I prosecuted DUIs. And if your case ever came across my desk, you would never have a license again.
Plaintiffs Brenda and Justin Aggregados say their car was damaged in a hit and run by the defendant. They are suing for the cost of repair. But the defendant, Sang Savanarad, claims that his friend was driving that night, so he doesn't owe the plaintiffs anything.
So what is this a photo of?
Right, so the tire is mine, and you see the defendant's bumper wedged underneath my tire. So he was going pretty fast, I'm assuming, for it to go underneath there. And
what kind of car do you have?
I have a 95 Camry.
Okay, next photo, please.
And that's the bumper.
Wow, the entire bumper.
It ripped clean off. I was looking for my window, backed up, boom. I'm like, wow, really? Yeah. Well, there it is. With his license plate.
So the license plate is still, we've redacted the license plate number, but that's the license plate still on the bumper?
Yeah, that's his license plate.
Okay, and you were able to use that license plate number, and what'd you do with it?
The police officers took the bumper back to the station as evidence for our case, and they still have it.
Sir, tell me what happened.
What happens that night, me and my friend went out.
You said you were not driving your car?
Driving, yes.
Who was driving your car?
My friend.
Why was he driving your car?
Because I was working that day and was tired, I don't feel like driving. So
Do you have a valid driver's license?
No, I don't.
Why?
I would have DUI. And,
You had a DUI conviction.
Yes.
When?
2013. I'm sorry, 2010.
Was that your first DUI conviction?
No, it's my fourth.
Oh, it was your fourth DUI conviction.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm a little stunned right now because I was a prosecutor and I prosecuted DUIs. And if your case ever came across my desk, you would never have a license again. You understand? For DUI convictions, let me explain something to you about DUIs. By the time a person is stopped and arrested for a DUI, it's not the first time they've been driving under the influence, it's the first time they've been caught, generally. Are you still drinking?
Sometime.
Have you tried to get help?
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
why are you still driving?
I'm not driving anymore. I don't drive my car when I go out.
How many of these are felony convictions?
Just one.
I know whenever you get sentenced and you have to do these DUI programs, they're only for a few months at a time, but if you really want help, you've got to commit to the process. You've got to commit to a program. You've got to keep going, because when you come into court and you tell me, oh, I only had a couple of beers, alcoholics can't just have a couple of beers. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
When you leave court today, you really need to do some soul searching. You're not making good choices, and you got to get some help. You got to stick with it. You have to find a program and get some help. And if we can help you do that, if you want help through this court, if we can help you find a program, we are certainly willing to do that, but you have to do it. Because what if there had been a person standing in the street that night? I mean, you hit a car. What if you had hit a person? You're suing for $2,798, and that's based on an estimate that you provided to the court for damages to your car.
Yeah.
And I actually looked up the Blue Book value of your vehicle. It's a 1995 Toyota Camry, right? That's correct. And even in very good condition, the Blue Book value of the car is $2,222. Good condition, it's $2,151. In fair condition, it's $1,751. So to be fair, I'm going to award you, and I'm going to order the defendant to pay you the good condition value of the car, which is $2,151. Judgment for the plaintiff. Good luck, sir.
This landlord thought he was lending a helping hand.
He told me that he had problems before, and I knew his credit wasn't the best, but I was still willing to work with him because I saw something in him, ma'am. And I really wanted to help him out.
You were going to give him a chance.
But sometimes the hand that feeds gets bitten.
The very first month, he was short on the rent.
The sink was backed up, and it was a real bad sewer smell. I couldn't even wash the dishes in the front sink. I had to take all the dishes to the bathtub where we bathed.
Did you threaten to beat him up and to call your deputies?
Your Honor, I did.
You feel bad about it?
Plaintiff Daryl Phillips is suing his former tenant for unpaid rent, damages, and related fees. Defendant Alex Coleman claims the property was uninhabitable and smelled like raw sewage.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Phillips versus Coleman.
Thank you, Barbara. Daryl Phillips,
Yes.
you are suing the defendant Alex Coleman
Yes.
for $5,543 for unpaid rent, damages, and related fees. And you understand the statutory maximum in my courtroom is $5,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I understand that Mr. Coleman was a tenant of yours for a while, and you say he failed to pay rent.
Yes.
And other expenses.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning and you tell me what happened?
Well, Your Honor, I met Mr. Coleman around about April 2013. And very good young man, I thought he was ambitious. He was working for a cable provider. So he was selling me some cable. So anyway, in that process, we got to conversing about our backgrounds. He told me about losing his parents, and I was sorry to hear that, and some of his struggles he was going through. I grew up in New Orleans inner city. I was a former gang member. You know, my mother got me away. I joined the Marine Corps. Well, I didn't join. She sent me to the Marine Corps. But anyway, I wound up going to the Marine Corps. I was an enlisted guy, became a warrant officer, then I became a regular commissioned officer. You know, got my degrees in there, associate degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree. Now I'm working on a PhD.
Wow.
And I saw a lot of
That's
potential in this
wonderful.
young man. He was raising a non-biological son. You know, he told me about that, and I thought that was good because a lot of young guys today don't take responsibility. So, you know, I said, I would give you a chance based on my background. You know, I'm for the underdog, you know, always. So I said, you know, I got a nice place coming up available, and he had mentioned to me they had some prior problems with his last place that he stayed, and then he was living with in-laws. So I said, okay, well, we can work something out. So we actually wrote up the lease and got him in, and he was supposed to move in the 1st of May. I actually let him in a little bit earlier than that, you know, without even charging, just trying to help him out because he's a good young man.
Let me ask you, Mr. Coleman, what was going on with you when you met Mr. Phillips? Why were you looking to move somewhere else at that time?
We were living with in-laws at that time, and it was just a very uncomfortable environment. You know, we didn't even have a room. You know, we were in the living room pretty much all together. And I was working full-time at that time, 6 days a week, you know, and I was paying them about $400 a week just to be there because the people that we were living with, they weren't doing too well themselves. So, like Mr. Phillips said, you know, we met late April.
Do you have a copy of the lease, sir?
Yes, ma'am,
May I see it, please? So you move in, and how much do you agree to pay in rent?
We agreed to pay $750 in rent every month.
And did you also pay a security deposit?
No, we did not pay a deposit. And like he said, you know, he let us move in without giving him the deposit because he kind of knew the situation in the short time that, you know, we known each other.
So he moves in, your
He moves
two-bedroom,
in.
two-bathroom condo, and is this a place that you've owned for a while and you rent out?
Owned it for a while, you know, rent it out. Usually, you know, my tenants I'm very selective about. You know, in 20-something years of doing real estate, ma'am, I only had 2 evictions, you know.
So you didn't have him provide references or a credit check or any of the things you normally do when you have people move in?
You know, ma'am, he was honest with me. He told me that he had problems before, and I knew his credit wasn't the best, but I was still willing to work with him because I saw something in him, ma'am. And you know, I really wanted to help him out.
You were going to give him a chance?
And I was going to give him a chance.
Okay.
You know, not everybody give everybody a second chance, you know, but I wanted to do that. So the very first month, you know, he was short on the rent. And then we got to the next month. They were short again.
Did you say you were paying $400 a week at your in-laws or $400 a month?
No, at that time, I was paying $400 a week.
So you go from paying $1,600 a month to not being able to pay a security deposit and only paying $200-300 a month towards rent with Mr. Phillips.
I know how that sounds. It sounds real silly, and in a sense, it is.
Well, because it doesn't make a lot of sense,
Well,
and usually when it doesn't make a lot of sense, it's because it's probably not the truth.
Okay, well, maybe it wasn't exactly $400. It was around that area that we were paying. And I told Mr. Phillips what we were paying while we were staying there. But when we moved in, before we got to the next month, there was actually some problems with the plumbing. And as you know, so at that time I was still paying him, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to get somebody in there."
What was
Never
the issue?
did. Well, it was just the sink was backed up, and it was a real bad sewer smell. It came to a point where I couldn't even wash the dishes in the front sink. I had to take all the dishes to the bathtub where we bathe.
Coming up, Judge Faith hears some shocking facts.
Did you threaten to beat him up and to call your nephews?
Your Honor, I did.
I thought he was gonna hit me. You know, I was getting ready to almost defend myself. I didn't know what he was capable of. Everybody in the house was like, what's going on? They could see something happen, obviously bad. And I say, Mr. Phillips, he's acting real crazy. He got in my face. And so he starts threatening my whole family.
Plaintiff Daryl Phillips is suing his former tenant for unpaid rent, damages, and related fees. Defendant Alex Coleman says he didn't pay rent because there were serious issues with the plumbing.
The sink was backed up, and it was a real bad sewer smell. It came to a point where I couldn't even wash the dishes in the front sink. I had to take all the dishes to the bathtub where we bathe. So I told him about that problem about a month and a half to 2 months in.
How long did you live in this condo?
7 months or so.
So you're
Not
saying
that
the
long.
entire 7 months that you were in
Except
there?
for the first month. Towards the end of the first month, the beginning of the second month, that's when we started having trouble with the plumbing.
Okay, so 5.5 months, you had problems with the plumbing and had to wash the dishes in the bathtub, things like that.
Exactly, for 5.5 months, right.
And did someone ever go into the condo?
Absolutely, Your Honor. He got in there in May, and when he said somewhere in June that there was a problem, that was taken care of immediately. I mean, my guy got there to meet him when I was in New Orleans. I think I came back about mid-June, and I think this is when everything really started going toward the eviction thing. And
because he'd lived there for 2 months at that point and hadn't paid rent. When you say he paid some rent, how much was he paying?
He paid the first time $125, then $325, and then after that he never made another payment.
I did not make a payment on the security deposit like I had stated. The very first month, the rent was $750. I paid him. I went to his house. I paid him $600, and I was Mr. Phillips. I was short. There was problems with my bank.
Well, hold on a second. You said that you were having some hard times financially.
Yeah.
And what else is going on with you?
I have a medical condition. It's called sickle cell anemia. And at that time I was working, it was really hot outside. A part of what my condition is, you know, with cold water or heat, it was really hot outside, it tends to make my disease act up. So when we moved in, I wasn't working the 6 days anymore. Mr. Phillips knew somewhat of that because I was keeping in contact with him and letting him know what was going on for the most part. I showed him medical paperwork and stuff like that. He knew I had a medical condition.
And did he have a discussion with you about that?
Yes, he did, Your Honor, he did. And, you know, so that's why I kind of backed off on him a little bit. So I guess he started getting a little better, and then they promised me, they said, oh, Ms. Phillips, we got something worked out. We're going to make this schedule, and we're going to make it work. I said, okay, well, then we'll see. I said, well, when I come back, you know, I got to go out of town on business again. I come back, hopefully, you know, you'll have everything.
So you went out of town in the month of August. What happened when you got back?
So I returned, went to the apartment. His fiance was there. And I spoke to her, and she said, well, you know, call Alex. She said, I have my half. I'm just waiting on him. And then when I spoke to him, he was saying, well, no, Lexi doesn't have her half. And then after that point, I said, well, you know what? I tried to help you out, you know, and I'm going to have to wind up putting you guys out.
So what happened when you saw him in person? You said you had to chase him down one day. Did you physically chase him?
Oh, yes, I did, Your Honor, I did. I caught myself, you know, but I got a little angry because he
more than a little angry. It was more than, you should tell it exactly how it happened.
I said, hey, you told me you had this money. I want the money right now. And so he said something that irritated me. And,
Your Honor, I would like to tell exactly how it happened. I was riding my bike to the store, okay? Mr. Phillips pulls up in his vehicle. He gets out, he said, hey, where's my money? I said, hey, what's going on with the plumbing and the hot water? And he says, well, you guys need to get out. He just bypassed what I said. He said, I want my keys, you guys need to get out. You know, pointing in my face, and I thought he was gonna hit me. You know, I was getting ready to almost defend myself. So at that point, he said, you know what, if you're not gonna give me my keys, I think I have another set. You know what, matter of fact, I'm just gonna go run. I'm gonna go get it myself. So that's when he hopped in his car. And my family was in the house, my brother-in-law, my fiance, and my stepson at that time. So I get on the bike, I go back home. Like he said, I ran in the house trying to protect him because I didn't know, I mean, he's showing his true colors at that point, so I didn't know what he was capable of, him being in the military and stuff. So I go in the house, lock the door. Everybody in the house like, what's going on? They could see something happen, obviously bad. And I say, Mr. Phillips, he's acting real crazy. He got in my face, you know, he said he's gonna do this and that. And so he comes up to the door. And so he starts threatening my whole family. He's like, you guys don't get out. He was like, I don't care if I might have to call my nephews. We'll run up in your house. If we have to sit around the block and wait till you guys pull up to beat you up or do whatever, I will do that. And my fiance's like, do you not know my 7-year-old son is right here? And guess what he says? Well, you shouldn't involve him in adult affairs.
Did you threaten to beat him up and to call your nephews?
Your Honor, I did. I was upset, Your Honor. You know, I had to calm myself down.
He was calling us deadbeat tenants, and you know, being a deadbeat, owner or whatever you want to call it. Like that's not how you conduct business. You know, he's saying he has PhD, this and that. That's good and everything, but yet you stoop to somebody else's level and act like you're from the streets and threaten the family. You know, because of money, which is understandable, but that's not how you conduct business, and that's exactly what he did. And he knew he was wrong because after that day, we did not hear from him for 3 weeks because he knew he was wrong.
You feel bad about it?
I did feel bad about it, Your Honor.
You sort of resorted to that thug life for a second?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what, Your Honor, the bad thing about it is I could have did something that could have got myself in, quite a bit of trouble. But I caught myself. I did calm down, and I just say, I'm gonna leave it alone. But most of my tenants, my average tenant has been in my places, my rentals I have for over 10 years with no complaints.
Most of the reason why he was not getting the money was because I was sick a lot of the time.
Right, so the real issue, so the real issue wasn't the hot water, I'm assuming, or the plumbing. That was an issue because it was an issue, but was the place in such poor condition that you deemed it to be unlivable because you managed to live there for 7 months?
Your Honor, we had nowhere else to go.
When you left, did you get evicted or did you leave on your own?
No, we were evicted.
Where are you living now?
Right now I have my own place.
How much are you paying in rent?
$750.
Are you paying rent every month?
Yes, I am.
You working at the same location?
No, different. I have a different job now.
Are you on a salary or hourly?
Hourly plus commission.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot better than I was doing.
And I take it that your health is better?
A lot better. A lot better.
That's good to hear. I I have some concerns about what he's telling me about the plumbing and the hot water. What was the issue with it?
Your Honor, all it was a pilot light went off on the hot water heater. That was that. The problem.
Do you have any proof of anything you're saying about the plumbing or the hot water?
I don't have any proof, but he knows about it.
And that was just a pilot light. And the drain issue was resolved when my guys went over there and unclogged it. But they trashed the place, Your Honor. That passive-aggressive behavior. That's not necessary.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
It's one thing if you don't have the money and you're down on your luck or you're sick and you're not feeling well, but it's another thing for you to disrespect and not take care of someone else's property.
Plaintiff Daryl Phillips states that not only was he not paid, but that his property was also damaged. Defendant Alex Coleman claims he didn't pay rent because raw sewage backed up the sink, forcing him to wash dishes in the bathtub.
They trashed the place, Your Honor. That passive-aggressive behavior. That's not necessary. Your Honor, I submitted some pictures to the court, and if you would look at those pictures,
Well, let me
you
see
would
the
be
photos.
appalled.
Did you trash the place?
He was treating us like animals, so that's how we live.
Then that doesn't mean you have to be an animal.
Live. No, I'm just saying.
You told me I shouldn't be a thug, but
I'm
you
not
want to be an
happy.
animal?
I'm not happy. I'm not proud of how the situation played out.
What is this?
That's the pantry right there, Your Honor. They took the shelves out, threw the shelves away, and just left the trash in there.
Let me see the next photo.
This is aggression right here. They just took the fence and kicked it. Nothing was wrong with that
We
fence.
never even touched that ugly fence. We never even touched it.
Let
I
me
don't
see
know
the
how that happened.
next photo.
That's the sink, Your Honor. That wasn't a result of a backup.
Plumbing, Your Honor.
Well, there's water in the sink. I thought you said you couldn't use the sink to wash any dishes. I'm looking at a sink full of dishes and water.
It wasn't working. I know there's stuff there. There's dishes there right now.
Sir, you have an excuse for everything. I'm just telling you what you told me earlier. You said you couldn't wash dishes in the sink.
We could not.
You had to wash dishes in the bathtub, and I'm looking at a photo of dishes and water in a sink. Let's go to the next photo.
Oh, Your Honor, the blinds, and that's a result of the dog, Your Honor. The dog.
I'll take fault to that. That's correct.
Because he was left in there trying to get out.
You're just like, yeah, it happened. Because it's not your property. You don't care?
It's not. I'm not saying that.
That's how you're acting?
No, I'm taking fault for that.
That's not how you treat someone else's property. It's one thing if you don't have the money and you're down on your luck or you're sick and you're not feeling well, but it's another thing for you to disrespect and not take care of someone else's property.
And I've learned a lot since then, Your Honor. I've learned a lot.
And what bothers me is you just don't seem to care. You're like, yeah, it happened.
Well, I'm sorry I'm coming off that way. That's not how I meant it to come off.
Let's see the next photo. Was this the day he was evicted?
Yes. Well, there's...
So who cleaned up all of this stuff? You did?
One of my maintenance guys I hired to clean it up, Your Honor. And I will tell you, Your Honor, not only that dog was in there for quite some time because I have photos here, and there's feces all over the floor.
Barbara, would you
so if he was there taking care of the dog and all the food...
I was there, I wasn't cleaning. I was going to work, and I'd come back, and I wasn't cleaning anything.
Well, when you look through those, Your Honor, there's feces all over the floor.
At that point, Your Honor, we had let everything go already.
There are piles of trash in this condo. It's terrible how you left this condo. And there's no excuse for that. You talk about why you didn't pay rent and the plumbing and all those other things, but I'm looking at the things that you did. You left it in horrible condition.
You know, I'm being honest with everything, but as far as the plumbing, Mr. Phillips never had anyone come in the house and fix that. That never happened. So he's lying. He's lying when he's saying that. That never happened.
Mr. Coleman, I have to tell you, when I looked at the photos of how you left the condo, I was really disappointed. Because when I heard the testimony from you, sir, from both of you really, about how you were given a second chance, do you know how many people wish and long for the opportunity that you were given by this man?
Yes.
And, you know, to meet someone like him, and earlier, if anyone knows me, they come before my court, they know that I don't like people who lie to me. And you could have easily come in and lied and say, I didn't lose my temper, I didn't say all of those things. And when I asked you about it, you were honest and you said, I know I have a bad temper and I lose it sometimes, and I did, and I felt bad about it. You know what? No one's perfect. And so I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate you coming into court and telling me about that. I actually think that what you tried to do was a good thing for this young man. What really, really bothers me is it's one thing if you can't afford to pay the rent because you're sick or because you're not working, but it's another thing for you just not to care and treat someone else's property like garbage. And I think that really tells me a lot about you and what you did in this situation. And it's really disappointing, because I think you have a lot to learn. You're 26 years old, you're out on your own, you say you have all of these responsibilities with a fiance and a stepson that you're trying to take care of. I hope that in the future you can be a better leader.
Oh, I've learned a lot since that day, so I have learned a lot, and I take full responsibility for my actions.
Well, good for you. Do you have anything you want to say to Mr. Phillips? Because I know after the two of you leave here today, you probably won't be in contact.
Well, you know, thanks again for, you know, the opportunity that you did give me, and I apologize for how things turned out, sincerely.
I believe you.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
So here's what I'm going to do, sir. In looking at the estimates that you provided me and the receipts you provided to the court for damages, $1,448 in damages, I'm going to order you to pay that based on the photos and the estimates you provided to the court. In addition, I'm going to order you to pay 4 months of back rent at a rate of $725. He doesn't have a lot of money. 4 months is what I'm going to order him to pay in back rent. So my total judgment in this case, I'm ordering you to pay him $2,900 in back rent, in addition to $1,448.50 in damages, for a total judgment of $4,348.50 verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck to both of you.